about word problems, and only one type. These are the and type of word problems. So that means we learned yesterday that and always has the variable in the middle, and the shading is only in the middle, so it's not on the outsides. So the keyword that we're looking for and inequalities is the keyword between. So when you see between, that means x, or the variable is between two numbers. So that would be the keyword that we're looking for. So once you see that, this is how all of the inequalities will be set up. We have the smaller number on the left, the bigger number on the right. We have these less than or equal to every single time. So that makes it easy. At the smaller number, bigger number, left and right, you have less than or equal to. And the hardest part is this middle part, trying to figure out what's attached to the variable, is there a current amount that they gave us, and all that stuff. So let's take a look. And I think as we go and you see a couple of these, you're going to kind of get the gist on what's going on here. So it says, Carmen's goal is to sell between. So right there, when I see that word between, I know it's an and. Between $500 and $600 in sporting goods. So I know this inequality has 500 over here for the smaller number, 600 over here for the larger number, and I know that we have less than or equal to. So that is the easy part. It's just setting up the bigger number, the smaller number with less than or equal to on both sides. And it says, so far she has sold $395 worth of equipment. How much merchandise must she sell to reach her goal? So that last sentence, how much of something, whatever they're asking for is always our variable. So our variable will label as x almost every time. And x will equal what? Well, it will equal what they're asking for. It says how much merchandise. So x will be my merchandise. And that's stuff to sell, essentially. So we can even say merchandise to sell. So if she's already sold 395 and she wants to sell between 5 and 6, because she probably is on commission, that's something we learned about in Unit 2, we would say that we have x plus 395, because that's the amount that we already have, and the variable x is the merchandise that she still needs to sell. So now to solve this problem, we did this yesterday, we just got to get x by itself. And in order to do that, we subtract $395 from all three sides. And now we'll see that Carmen would need, what is 500 minus 390? I think that's 105. That's 205. So the sentence would be, Carmen needs to sell between $105 and $205. So that's what Carmen needs to sell between in order to hit her goal, because it says it's Carmen's goal. So that's the setup every single time. Smaller number on the left, bigger number on the right, less than or equal to for both inequalities, and then the middle is the hardest part, where you got to figure out what to plug in there based on what they tell us. So let's go on to the next page. So now we have this first one, and the setup is right up here. Kind of reminds you on this page, which is nice. It says Amanda is going to rent an apartment and wants to keep the rent between $600 and $800 per month. That sounds pretty good. That's a good amount. If her parents give her $200, how much will she have to pay herself? So the variable is always what we're looking for. In this case, what's that last sentence ask? Well, it asks how much she's going to have to pay herself. So we'll say that x is the amount, what was her name? Amanda has to pay, right? Because her parents are going to help her out a little bit. And she already knows that she wants to only spend between 6 and 800. So 600 is my smaller number. 800 is my bigger number. I know that I have a less than or equal to in between each of these. So now we just got to figure out this middle. Well, it says her parents give her 200, and we got to figure out her amount. So x plus 200 sounds good to me, because the x is how much she's going to have to pay, and her parents already pay 200 every month, helping her out a little bit. Must be in college or something. So now in order to get x by itself, we got to subtract 200 from all three sides. When we subtract 200, this is how much Amanda herself is going to have to pay. It looks like she's going to have to pay between $400 and $600. So that's would be my sentence. Amanda has to pay between 400 and 600. So that would be that answer. Questions on that? All right, I can't hear you, even if you have them. So number 2, it says Dave runs track for DePaul. While training for a big track meet, Dave spent between $35 and $60 a day. So this word between tells you it's an and. This is my smaller, this is my bigger. If the university gives him $25 a day, he must be on scholarship. How much of his own money does he have to spend? So what is it asking for in the end? It's asking for his own money. So that's what we'll label as X. Dave's, I think it was Dave, yeah. Dave's own money, because this is what he's spending on food, right? So my inequality, I know I have 35 for how much he spends on a lighter day, 60 on a heavy day. I know that they're going to always be less than or equal to. So now we got to figure out what goes in the middle. I know X is part of that middle, and it says that the university gives them 25. So X plus 25 would be a good start. So if we were to solve this, we'd subtract 25 from all 3 sides. So how much does Dave have to spend of his own money? It looks like he's going to have to spend between $10 and $35. 25 a day seems like it should be enough though, but maybe not. Yeah, I mean $60 a day is a pretty big day. So my sentence would be Dave spends between 10 and 20, or no, that's $35 of his own money every day. So that's what we got for 2. Pause it if you need some more time. I'm moving up. Studies show that a sprinter hits their physical peak between ages 24 and 28. So I see that word between. I got a small, I got a big. If Bolt is 22, when will he hit his peak? So what's the question asking for? When will Bolt, that's Usain Bolt, hit his peak? That's what X is. So when is that going to happen? How many years here? So my inequality is between 24 and 28. I know these are less than or equal to signs. He's already 22, so that'd be X plus 22. Now, in order to get X by itself, we have to subtract 22 from both sides. So let's take a look. It looks like Bolt is going to hit his peak between 2 and 6 years. So Bolt will peak between 2 and 6 years. So there you go. That's number 3. And then the last, oh no, I thought there was one more on this page. I think we got one more page to go. So pause it if you need more time. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to skip 4. I'm going to try to do some tougher ones here. 5 is a tough one. All right, to qualify for health insurance, Elaine must work between 80 and 160 hours. So I know right away I have 80, I have 160. These are both less than or equal to. She has worked 16 hours so far this month and works 8 hours a day. How many more days can she work this month and still qualify? So what are they asking for? They're asking for X is the number of days she can work. Not she. Is it Elaine? We'll go Elaine can work. All right. So it says that she's worked 16 hours so far and 8 hours per day. I think we learned already that word per means multiplication. And if X is my number of days, we can attach that 8X and that 16 is how many hours she's already worked. So that's how we put that together. So if you see the word per, that means you multiply. So now we have 8x plus 16, so we're going to subtract 16 from all three sides. So now we have 8x is less than or equal to 160 minus 16, I think is 144. And that is 64 on the left. You divide by 8 on all three sides. And we get x is less than or equal to, that's 8. I got to use my calculator for 144. Divided by 8. We get 18 on that one. So now, if we want to write this as a sentence, x is my number of days. So we'd say Elaine must work between 8 and 18 days. So that was to qualify for health insurance. Take a look at that. Next. Ooh, this is a good one too. Marie wants to save between $2,500 and $5,000 for a down payment on a new car. If she saves $5,000 per month, how many months will it take her to save the money? So let me just check